Dog Boss here. We got another unboxing and unveiling of a new Dogtra product. Today we're going to be talking about the Arc Handsfree Plus. Now you might be saying to yourself, wasn't there already an Arc Handsfree? And that answer is yes. So I'm going to go over what makes this different, what makes it new, and what makes it exciting. What makes this new collar exciting is that it's expandable up to 2 dogs. So now we can control 2 dogs with 1 remote. Also, the hands-free portion is now expandable up to 14 of the hands-free squares. This is a game changer. This collar still has the nick and constant function as well as the high performance page, and it also still has the LED screen that goes up to 127. All right, so now let's unbox this thing. Here's our unveiling of the brand new Arc Handsfree Plus. The first thing that you'll see when you open your box is the owner's manual, your charger, your new Handsfree Square, the collar, and lastly, the remote. Now let's discuss the 3 main components of this system: the collar, the remote, and the square. The collar is the same exact Arc setup from the previous Arc devices. When you look at the new remote, it's got a couple different color schemes now. It's black and brown, and you can see here we have dog 1 set up for gray and dog 2 set up for orange. This is going to allow us to control 2 dogs with 1 remote. And lastly, we have our square. This is a nice wristband that you can either put on your hand or around your wrist, and now you have the ability to hit a button and control your dog that way. The Arc Handsfree Plus has a 3/4 mile range, and it's also important to note that the square has to be within 33 feet of the remote in order for it to work. Since this system is expandable up to 2 dogs, it does not come automatically synced. So here's your steps to sync your remote with your new collar. First, you're going to make sure that your remote is set to 0 and you have a blue on and off button here. You're going to hold that down for roughly 4 seconds until you get the green light on the face blinking rapidly. Then you're going to pair your red dots on the remote and the collar. Again, for roughly 4 seconds until you get the green blink on the collar. And lastly, we're going to hit the 2 gray buttons simultaneously. And now you're paired up. I just paired that to dog number 1, which is the gray buttons. And if you were to do this with a second collar, you would do the same exact steps, but instead of holding the 2 gray buttons, you would hold the 2 orange buttons. The coolest part of this brand new collar is the ability to sync multiple squares to 1 unit. Prior to this system, with the old hands-free, you could only pair 1 square to 1 remote. Now we have the ability to pair 14 of these to 1 system. We not only can just pair them to the system, we can choose whether we're going to set it up with nick, constant, or pager. So let me show you how to sync these things up. To start, we're going to go ahead and do the nick function first for this square. So you have a toggle switch here on the face of this remote. It's currently flipped up to nick. If you flip it down, it goes to constant. So I'm going to flip it back up to nick, and I'm going to pair this system with this square. So first, make sure that your remote is set to 0 and that it's off. You're going to hold down your blue on and off button for roughly 4 seconds until you get the rapid green blink. Once you get that, you're going to hold down your brown button on your square. You'll get a rapid blink on that as well. And once they're paired, you'll get solid green blinks. Now this square is paired to the nick function on this remote. Now I'm going to show you how to pair this square to the constant function on this remote. So to do so, make sure you put your toggle switch down to C for constant. Ensure that the remote is off and set to 0. Hold down your on and off power button for roughly 4 seconds until you get your solid green blink. Once it starts blinking, you're going to hold down your brown button on the square. That will blink, and then once it goes solid, now it's set, and this square is set to the constant function on this remote. Now let's pair this square to the pager function of this remote. This is going to require a couple additional steps. So to do so, again, make sure that this is off and it's set to 0. You're going to hold down the blue on and off power button, and at the same time, you're going to hold down the page button on the front of the remote. So you'll hold those both down together for roughly 4 seconds. You'll get your blinking green light. Then you're going to go over to your hands-free device, hold that down until you get your blink. Once it goes solid, now this square is paired to this collar with the pager function. So you may be asking yourself at this point, what is the benefit of having so many squares paired to one remote? Here's a couple ideas. The first one is, within your household, you have multiple house members controlling the same dog. Prior to having squares and being able to use multiple squares, whoever had the remote is the only one that could control the dog. Now the square gives us the ability to control the dog from multiple people. Another example of why you would want to use this with multiple squares is in a training scenario. Think of it this way. A trainer and a client both have the ability to control the dog with a square individually. Prior to this system, whoever had the remote was the only one that could control the dog. So as a trainer, this gives us almost a fail-safe, like a student driver, to be able to control the dog if the client isn't capable of doing so. To recap, this brand new Arc Handsfree Plus is built off the backbone of the already existing Arc Handsfree. The major difference though is that the old Arc Handsfree, you can only pair one square to that system. Now we have the ability with the Plus to be able to pair 14 squares to this same system. This Plus device is also available in the 1900 and the 1902 system. All these new Plus systems are now available on Dogtra.com, and all these systems are Dog Boss approved.